Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, happy to announce that we are in business. That is, both the Ukrainians and the Russian weasels decided to be available to lie to us. Therefore, I'm going to have an update of the Ukrainian front using both weasels angle and yapping around. Okay, so let's start with the Ukrainian side. So the Ukrainian side, I would use Ukraine form. Today, the 31st of July 2023. Armed forces of Ukraine continue their offensive in Melitopol Berdiansk directions. Let's go to the Russians. Ram pam pam, where is Melitopol Berdiansk? Right here. Where is it? Right here. Melitopol Berdiansk. So the Ukrainians want to cut here and cut here in this area, so the Russians will have no more, supposedly, troops to be able to feed here. So they will cut them off here and supposedly going to destroy them here and go like that and go like that and go to Moscow. All right, that's supposedly the plan. You know how the plan works. This is where the Russians are attacking and trying to advance. This is supposedly where the Ukrainians are trying. Now this is the Russian map. All these blue little circles are where the Ukrainians are shelling the Russian positions. Here I can tell you these are villages that they are shelling according to the Russians. The red ones are where the Russians are attacking only military targets according to the Russians. The yellow ones are where drones or aircraft, helicopters, fighter jets are destroyed by the Russians, and the black ones is where the troops sometimes meet face to face. Now that we know all this, let's go to the Ukrainians. During the day, 30 combat engagements took place between the defense forces of Ukraine and Russian troops. So the General Staff informs that the enemy launched, the Russians, 9 missile strikes, 39 airstrikes and 35 MLRS attacks on the position of Ukrainian troops and populated settlements during the day. Now they tell us about civilians and all that, which I skip. And I start with Volyn and Polisia directions. The operational situation has not changed significantly. No signs of formation of enemy offensive groups were detected. So the Ukrainians start talking about this area right here in the north. This is Belarus right here. So they start talking about the north, and they go down here with Chernihiv, Sumy, and Kharkiv, or Chernigov, Sumy, Kharkov, according to Russians, and then they go here to Luhansk, Donetsk, then they go to Zaporozhye, then go to Kherson, and they end up with a little final summary. So let's go with the Ukrainians. In Sivershchinya and Slabozhchinya directions, the aggressor launched an airstrike in Sumy region, in Kharkiv region. The enemy fired mortars and artillery at more than 30 settlements. Also, there is in what? In Kharkiv, in Chernihiv, and in Sumy. So the Russians are just shelling, according to the Ukrainians, this area right here. Now if you look at the Russians, it's the Ukrainians who shell. So let's see what they say here. For instance, the Russians say that the governor said that Ukrainian forces dropped ammunition from a drone onto the building of the district police department, damaging its windows and roof. The Russians are reporting here only the civilian infrastructure and sometimes casualties, okay, and vice versa with the Ukrainians. They say no, that the Russians are destroying only that. So now we move to Kupiansk. The Kupiansk, so as I said, they go from they go in the right here in this direction right here. So they're going to go to Kupiansk is right here. Kupiansk, right here. So Kupiansk is right here. It's been like this for some time. And this is where the Russians say they probably attack. Let's see what the Russians say. The Zapad battle group successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops. So they're in the defensive. And here it says assault units of the Zapad battle group, supported by aviation and artillery, continued their offensive and gained a foothold in the advantageous positions. So as I said, the black bullets. And the red ones, let's see what happened here. Russian forces carried out a combined strike on Ukrainian troops. Russian forces destroyed a Ukrainian workshop that was used to assemble drones. Kind of close, don't you think? Russian forces carried out a combined strike on Ukrainian troops, and here the same thing. So we're going to go to the Ukrainians, but before we go to Ukrainians, I'll let you know that they're going to go here to Liman. area. Where is Liman? Hey, all right here. So they go from Kupiansk, they're going to go to Liman. But let's go to the Ukrainians and see what they say about the Kupiansk. The Kupiansk direction. Ukrainian soldiers hold the defense firmly, successfully repelled enemy attacks east of Berestove in Kharkiv region and in Luhansk region. The enemy launched an airstrike in Donetsk region. Artillery and mortars were fired at more than 10 settlements in Kharkiv region. So they say that the enemy attacks. So this is where sometimes they overlap with their update. In Liman direction that I was talking about, south of Kupiansk, the enemy launched airstrikes near Spirnia and Donetsk region, and in Luhansk region, and again in Donetsk region were hit with artillery. So they say only artillery here. Let's see what the Russians are saying, which is Liman is right here. Let's get this one. The center battle group successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using air and artillery strikes, as well as brought upon them a comprehensive fire strike. Comprehensive. The fuck that is. Anyway, so according to the Russians, the Ukrainians are attacking. Let's see what's here. The Central Battle Group successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using air and artillery strikes, as well as shot down a Ukrainian drone. Let's see here, another drone. So this is another drone that was downed. Here, this might be a fighter jet or helicopter. Okay, according to the Russians, their air defense systems shot down a Ukrainian Sukhoi 25 aircraft. So then we're going to go Bakhmut, which is Artemovsk, but before we go there, I'm going to have these little things here. So this is a drone, we got that one. And here, the Yug battle group successfully repelled all attacks by Ukrainian troops. This is in Luhansk. And here's Donetsk down here. Next one. The Yug battle group successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops, as well as hammered their units and military equipment. The Yug battle group successfully repelled all attacks by Ukrainian troops. So this is where the Ukrainians supposedly attack. So let's go down here. This is going to be Artemovsk. They call it Bakhmut. The Ukrainians call it Bakhmut. The Russians Artemovsk. Let's see what these guys are saying. Denis Pushilin, the acting head of the Donetsk People's Republic, said that fierce battles were raging in the village. So that's not in Bakhmut. Let's see what the Ukrainians are saying. So in the Bakhmut direction, more than 10 settlements came under enemy artillery fire. We go to Avdiivka, south of Bakhmut. In Avdiivka direction, the enemy launched airstrikes. The settlements, including Tralalulululolo in Donetsk region, were struck. So in Avdiivka, nothing happened but shelling. So let's go to Avdiivka, which is south of this, and that is, where are you? This is Avdiivka, right here. But I don't see it named here. This is Avdiivka, I don't see it. Usually they have a, anyway, you gotta believe me, this is Avdiivka. All right. But it seems like these guys got here Mayorsk now. What's going on in Mayorsk? The Yug battle group successfully repelled all attacks by Ukrainian troops. These are bombardments by the Ukrainians, the blue ones. And if I just put one, open one is going to be attacking the village and civilians and all that. So we are here at Avdiivka. Let's say Avdiivka. What are you doing there? So the Yug battle group successfully repelled all attacks by Ukrainian troops. The same thing here. So the Ukrainians are supposedly attacking here. But you see this little thing that's dangerous for the Ukrainians, obviously. We're going to go to Marinka, right here. Battles are raging in the city. Russian forces successfully repelled all attacks by Russian troops. All right, let's see what the Ukrainians are saying about Marinka. In Marinka direction, the aggressor launched an airstrike near Krasnohorivka. The defense forces continue to hold back the advance of Russian troops. So the Russians are advancing. The other guys did not say so. In the areas of Marinka and Pobieda, the enemy shelled several settlements in Donetsk region with artillery. Now we move to Shakhtarsk direction. Shakhtarsk is going to go this way right here. Now this is where the Ukrainians supposedly are having their offensive. Right here at the border between Donetsk and Zaporozhye, and this is their front. Their offensive is right here, according to the Ukrainians. So let's go to the Ukrainians, see what they say right here, Shakhtarsk. The enemy launched airstrikes in the areas of Vuhledar, Blagodatnie, and Staromayorsk. In the area of the latter, the enemy made unsuccessful attempts to restore the lost position. The invaders kept shelling Vodiane, Vuhledar and Blachnodatne settlements in Donetsk region. So supposedly is this right here. This is Vuhledar, Uhledar, and this is drone. Let's see how many. One drone downed, another drone. Now, let's see what here. Russian forces thwarted the activity of a Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance group. So this is where the big counteroffensive is. So I'm going to show you on the Big Mac. Yes, okay. Big Mac, you're on Big Mac, but big map right here. This right here. And they say you're going to break through Melitopol, we're going to go to Berdiansk, and you are done here. But these guys are going to break here and they're going to come from behind. And if you know what I mean. So let's go back to the Ukrainians. In Zaporozhye and Kherson direction. So these guys are lazy and they tell us both in the same time. They're not going to go with this and then this. All right, no problem. We're not going to fall victims to laziness. In Zaporozhye and Kherson directions, the invaders focused their main efforts on preventing the further advance of Ukrainian troops. The Russians launched airstrike in the area of Malinivka and Malatokmachka settlements in Zaporozhye region. So those are, I think, somewhere right here, this area. Okay, well, right here, I'm sorry. Tomchakau. All right, so this is where the Russians focus their bombardments, the shelling. And here, drones, one drone, two drones, three drones. And here another thwarted. Russian forces thwarted the activity of the Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance group. Let's see what they did here. Russian forces struck the headquarters and base of Ukraine's 35th Marine Brigade. Shelling, airstrikes, shelling, strikes, airstrikes, artillery strikes, artillery strikes. This is where they are just bombarding the Ukrainians, so they stayed out of them here. And right, what's going on here? The Vostok Battle Group hammered Ukrainian troops using air and artillery strikes. So yeah, move on if you can. We're gonna like a dodgeball. Okay, so more than 35 settlements in Zaporozhye region and in Mykolaiv region, Kherson region were hit with artillery. So basically they just use artillery. According to the Ukrainians, the Russians are using artillery here. Or I have here by the Russians just Kherson. Let's see what these guys are doing. Units of the Dnieper Battle Group destroyed a US-made AN/TPQ 36 Firefinder radar. 5 Ukrainian soldiers were killed. Here, the Dnieper Battle Group destroyed Ukrainian positions. 5 Ukrainian soldiers were killed and another 4 were wounded. And here, units of the Dnieper Battle Group destroyed the US-made M777 howitzer with ammunition. 5 Ukrainian soldiers were killed and another 2 were wounded. And let's see what these guys are doing. Like Kakovka, here is where that dam was blown up by... we can't say. Ukrainian forces shelled the Kirov Street, where civilian houses were located. 3 civilians were injured, 2 of them were hospitalized. Okay, so let's go to the latest part of the Ukrainian article. At the same time, the defense forces of Ukraine continue to conduct an offensive operation in Melitopol and Berdiansk directions. I showed you that like 50 times already. Gain a foothold on the achieved boundaries, fire artillery at detected enemy targets, carry out counter-battery fight. Okay. Again, they tell about the civilian infrastructure. And again, during the day, the air forces of the defense forces launched 7 strikes on enemy personnel, weapons and military equipment clusters, and 3 more on enemy anti-aircraft missile systems, end quote, the General Staff informs. So the Ukrainians say they did that. Missile and artillery units hit 2 enemy anti-aircraft missile systems, a TOS or TOS-1A, Solnsepkyok, heavy flamethrower system, an artillery system on a firing position, and 4 enemy personnel clusters. Got that? If you got that, then we can move on. Nothing fantastic. In a way, there's someone breaking the defenses of the other one. Not in the north, in Kupiansk, Liman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, or Marinka. That's in, east part of Ukraine, in the Donbass area, and then you go to Zaporozhye, where the Ukrainians are trying to break the front unsuccessfully so far. In Kherson, nothing, just boom, boom, boom. And that's it, my friends. And I think I missed something here. If I saw, wasn't bombardment. No, that was yesterday. On Ukrainian positions inside, deep inside Ukraine, but no, it was not. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you later, my friends.